mentioned, very good draft here by his side though, Mirko. But with the Tigreal pick, I'm quite surprised with that, with the direction CFU wants to go here for their first match.
Most definitely. We're going to get straight into the Lanadon for the MWI 2025 at the Esports World Cup match here. Hey, the draft was a banger, I agree. I really like the drafts. Yes, there were some picks where we were kind of questioning it. Okay, there you go. We got to pause, ladies and gentlemen. So please do be patient with us as we dissect a bit of the draft more, right? So, Tigreal. I think we were kind of confused with the Tigreal pick, but other than that, everything looked really, really solid. The last carry pick after the Kalea was already picked up as well. So really good combos there, good shred. I like it. And this Navi Philippines draft is what I expected from TLG when they started off with the Fredrin Arlet. I thought they would just bang on the Fredrin and the Arlet XP.
Exactly. It was somehow, this is what they were planning for the game one for TLG. But by the way, for Navi Page, they aren't scared of that YSS.
Yeah.
They just go, pick it up. We ain't scared. They're prepared for it. They just want to go for the trade of the Arlet Zeshan. First 2 picks here for the red side. And actually, with the addition of the Kalea as well, that will be a cool chain of crowd controls here for Navi PH. Meanwhile, for CFU, let's discuss their strength as well. With the Hilda pick, they limited a lot of marksman heroes here for Shinoa.
Yeah, they really did. That's why you didn't see the Granger get picked up, ladies and gentlemen. The Granger would have been, I would say, the safest choice to go for had there not been a Hilda picked up early. And it was already weird because I think Navi, by picking up the Arlet so early, they were baiting out the Phobias. They wanted the Phobias to come out so that they could get the Granger. But they saw the Hilda, and that's where they had to kind of improvise again. The Hilda, a great way to deal with these MMs who play in the back and who need to land their shots, right? The Granger, the Kimmy, Farsa even. That's why it's kind of interesting to see that Kimmy and Farsa got banned. They were literally just trying to take away Shinoa's picks.
Yeah, for CFU, they were that sure that Shinoa is the one to watch out for. Even our panel was actually banking on, should you focus onto the gold lane alone, knowing Shinoa with a savage play from yesteryears. I was supposed to say from last year's win. With Iksha, by the way, a very good trajectory and a free hit for her. But for this round, many teams are actually talking about just targeting the solo lane, or which is the gold lane early on, especially onto the patch, which sometimes, or not sometimes, which adjusted the jungle spawn for our junglers. And meanwhile, we're heading back on to our game 1 for our match number 2. It's CFU Gaming versus Navi PH.
Yep. Welcome back to the Lanadon. We are officially back in the game. The game has been resumed. Tagami on the Eastern Shin. And we saw a lot of people, a lot of the players actually talk on Tagami, speak of Tagami. And yeah, all of them have just this respect for Tagami. Again, for Tagami, she is one of, if not the only, female player who's played in the MPL, who's gotten the experience there.
And not only that, she has huge respect for Keishi as well. They've mentioned that she is actually looking forward to battle against Keishi. Just so you know, guys, she mentioned specifically she would learn many lessons along the way. And it's how you quickly adapt and showcase those lessons along the way. Looking at the MD build as well here for CFU Gaming, more on the sustainable concussive blast here for the Tigreal, for Yui, and for Yoyoy with the Bruno as well. Sometimes, many people are underestimating the Bruno onto the gold lane.
You can already see Shinoa with better laning so far, actually able to win out in the trades against a Bruno. It's kind of tough as a carry to win out in the lane, especially in the trades, is because usually you rely heavily on your first skill to win out trades. So she's just been able to space out better. It's so annoying when you're up against a gold laner who knows how to space as well as Shinoa. She's so good at laning.
Exactly, and that's how sometimes you have to compromise, improvise rather, some of your battle plans if you're up against Shinoa specifically. And onto the bottom side, as we're talking about that, we could definitely see some advantage here for Yoyoy against Shinoa. But still, let's look at the big objective being targeted here by CFU. Keishi targeting Moshi, not Ayanami, is also here on the level 4. Ultis are ready here, Mirko.
Yeah. I think a bit of miscoordination there. Not level 4 just yet for Moshi. She'll be able to find it now, but Amore gets level 4 as well. Yui zoned away, able to pick up Mirai. Now Ayanami walks up again. Moshi jumping in again, but gets chased. CC Retribution on point for Keishi. Tagami a bit late to the fight now, goes in with the Mountain Shocker, but asking me to pick. No! Moshi gets away in time. Mirai falling to the first blood to Yoyoi. Rotation from the gold lane.
As an early first blood here for CFU Gaming, even though Navi PH got the first turtle, but on the other hand, Shinoa just enjoying on the gold lane. I think that favored Shinoa the most, that space for a gold lane this early.
Yeah, I think it did. Not only did Shinoa get so many hits on the turret, it's also the fact that she probably also got the gold crab that was, again, left alone by CFU Gaming.
And we just mentioned that you wouldn't want to put so much space, or give her so much space. But onto the top lane, not much of a space here. Moshi versus not Ayanami. And the crab coin, as you mentioned, will be onto the bottom side.
Yeah, the gold crab is so important, ladies and gentlemen, nowadays. If you guys play for the gold lane, just all you need to do is get the gold crab for your gold lane. At this point, ganks don't really matter. It's very hard to kill the gold laners in this meta, right? Just because of how many good weak side gold laners there are. They have Purify, they have dashes. They're great at escaping. But what they're not great at, some of them, is getting pressure in lane to get the gold crab. So if you could actually release some of that pressure, get your gold laner the gold crab, that's how you win the gold lane nowadays.
Yeah, you have to stress over on how important it is. But right now for Keishi jumping in.
Oh, full lockdown. Yui taken down like she couldn't do anything. No flicker. Couldn't even get the implosion down. And Navi want to go for more. They're setting up for Turtle too. 20 seconds on the board for it.
And that's how fast-paced Navi PH wants to get for the go for the pickups, especially with the Kalea pick. That is what you would want, especially with the titles like Tsunami Slam Force and the layer that they have in terms of somehow go for the counter punch. Speaking of which, Moshi up to the 2 bar left for her HP. Another turtle spawning here, targeted by Keishi. Yui needs to think about when and where to go for that implosion play now that she's alive. Moshi as well, they go hand in hand here.
Alright, Mirai in the back is trying to zone now. Good final slash into the implosion! 2-man with a Mountain Shocker too, but the vengeance resets continues! Appraiser's round the retribution! Keishi wins it out as Mirai goes for the Tsunami Slam. Tagami dives deep into the back, but now it's gonna be Keishi with a lockdown. Good traceless to escape, but Amore gets the damage done. Ba now all the way too deep in the fight. It's another for Amore, make it a double.
That's going to be love giving here for Navi PH. Even with Keishi down. Dominance is still too much here. Yui.
Nice try.
Well, it could have gone on a good side for CFU Gaming, but they have to limit those kinds of chase downs, especially for a flicker to be exhausted in that way.
It's tough, man. You want to go for those big Sacred Hammer plays, but it's so risky knowing, even if she did land it, Shinoa has Purify, right? It's a good resource to burn out, but I think saving your flicker to get a big implosion will be more worth it. Oh no, you hate to see it with the conceal! They don't get it! A possible guy in the bottom lane, the Purify still there for Shinoa, gets away from the implosion. CFU rotate everyone down below, and Ayanami is the one to get the value with a turret up top.
And that is what we're talking about. You would want to save your flicker to somehow going for a big clash, implosion play. And as you mentioned, with just one Purify, Shinoa could go away, could get away from those clashes. And looking at the gold difference here, of course, there's going to be a huge range here, a gap for the gold lane. Shinoa is just enjoying her time here. But meanwhile, Mirai is not having any of it for Moshi. And looking at the most here for our gold difference, mainly because they're letting Shinoa just play her game, take your time, and Amore on the mid lane just clears it out. Well-protected turrets, by the way, here for Natus.
Definitely. Yoyoi falling behind quite a bit. That's a 1,000 gold lead in the gold lane. Carry. I wonder what item she's on already.
Maybe
Does she only have 2 items?
Maybe we can check it out later. But meanwhile, what we could check out, there another implosion play.
Yeah, one-man implosion. That's going to be a three-man stun from Amore. Shino walking up as well. Has the ultimate, pops it up instantly. Mirai unable to go for the Tsunami Slam, but will be able to find it onto Yui. Keishi with the lockdown. Now Shino in the back, going to be zoned away. Moshi walks up the traces from Tagami, getting those stacks down. Another dash forward as Keishi's the one forced back again.
And that's a chase down that you want if you're CFU Gaming, targeting specifically Shinoa there. That's a beautiful isolation, by the way. And now CFU Gaming has their hands on the final turtle of the round. And they're not taking it easy. They want to target at least another turret onto the top lane, but Navi PH just regroups easily. It's faster here. And with CFU Gaming slowly but surely reaching and closing up the gap onto the network as well.
CFU's main strengths have really just been those team fights. Like they're so good at team fighting. But Navi Philippines have kept their losses at a very low point here because they've been able to control the tempo of the map. Those waves are managed very, very well. We get a check into the item builds here. Oh, massive pick again with the Mountain Shocker. Mirai gets a Tsunami Slam. That's a big stun over. Final slash to the back line of the Vengeance too. Ayanami gets a dive in. Keishi gets a big bonk as that's a flicker from Ayanami. Looking for more. Picks up a double. Yui able to get away from the taunt just a bit, but Ayanami walks up again. Able to get the Vengeance stacks. As Shinoa rotates down below to grab yet another turret. And that's the wave control. They always have the wave set up to get objectives after a big fight.
And that's how you control the map as well. 2 for the 1 trade-off plus a turret here for Navi PH. They're willing to take the risk that, okay, they go for the implosion even if it's one woman here, which is Mirai. By the way, before she actually went down, she went for the Tsunami Slam. And finally, for other members, they just kept on going because they know no more ultimates here for CFU Gaming, but real-time action here happening.
Implosion answered with a Tsunami Slam. Mirai gonna be picked up by Lancer Flare, thrown back at the balls coming in from Yoyoi. You gotta be careful there. Good shots from Zetienne. And this rivalry, Athena, we've been seeing it all throughout the world stages, right? Obviously, in IESF, CFU got the better of them, Navi Philippines, but Navi Philippines have also gotten one back just recently. So this is the final match of a best of 3 in a way.
Definitely. And for Navi PH, their return here as the Queens. Yes, you have a different org. You're donning a new black and yellow onto their jerseys. But still, for CFU Gaming, it's a different version persona as well that they're presenting here for their first ever match. And looking in onto the Lord as well. They want to rush this, but they have to reset it also. Moshi and Yui has the ultimates and the flicker ready. But Amore as well needs to somehow tone down her aggressiveness. She wants to somehow reserve that ultimate and of course the passive before she's even targeted from the back. And CFU Gaming just roaming around the map, trying to give info on where not Ayanami and even Mirai is hiding.
I wonder what the wave is looking like down below there. Swift Trinity right away from Shinoa. Wait a minute. Way too aggressive implosion. Landing on all of them, but the Tsunami Slam locks them down. The final flash onto Yoyoi. Even with the Purify, unable to tap it in time. That's a double for Shinoa. And everything falls into the plan of Navi Philippines.
It's speed is the name of the game here for Navi PH. And we mentioned not only under the minion wave management, they also capitalize onto getting the first ever Lord of the round plus a turret. Moshi can do nothing, but Zero down. Back away from Momor and friends here. Navi PH just brutalizing onto that Lord dance earlier.
Yeah, CFU are in very deep waters right now. Last year in MWI, they had to suffer an early exit. Another one at the Battle of Gamers. But they were able to redeem themselves at IESF. See if it continues here. That redemption. We brought back with the final slash. Again, bursts it down despite the implosion. That's going to be the worldie into the back. Ayanami survived for so long. Now the stun on 3 as Keishi, the utility jungler, picks up a triple. Now the base wide open, only one member, only Moshi, the Hilda left to defend, throwing the hammer out left and right, but will not be able to stop the end from happening. An unofficial Maniac for utility jungler in game 1.
It's going to be a game 1 win here for Navi PH. Definitely not the easiest game for them, but still, we cannot deny the fighting spirit is still there. And you're right about that unofficial mania kill. But props to Shinoa as well. Onto locking her sights onto her Crystal, just ending the game as soon as they can. When they find that window, they just want to go straight ahead. No more looking back, no more commercials here. And that's the power for Navi PH.
Navi Philippines, really. It was all about objective control. I would say mechanically, CFU were able to go toe-to-toe. They were able to beat Navi Philippines in a lot of big situations too, getting massive implosions. But the coordination is so important. It's not about these individual plays. You can get 5-man implosion, but if no one's there to follow it up, it's beneficial for the opposing team, not for you. And that's what Navi Philippines utilized. Better coordination, better macro. They just stayed calm and composed.
Exactly. They just needed to get out of the water, because water is the territory for the sharks. Yeah, and without that water, without the implosion play, if you could just get to land those kinds of damages for a utility jungler, by the way, you're safe. You're totally safe. Even Shinoa, they're just throwing onto the speed light wheels as well. Phantom Step, she wasn't easy to catch. There were numerous times, of course, that was an almost takedown on her. But still, Navi PH taking the first W here for our second match for MWI 2025. But to dissect what happened onto game number 1, we're gonna head over to our panel.
Thank you very much, casters. But let me just say, let's remind ourselves, this is a tournament with a $500,000 US prize pool. And I kind of feel like we have to be a little bit more critical on the plays that CFU Gaming actually did, because Navi PH, they played amazingly. But I really feel like CFU in that game, they look very unorganized, where Navi PH, they just capitalizes on all the mistakes.
I think that's the best way to put it, because I feel like for CFU, they wanted to do so much in a short period of time. There were moments wherein Tagami comes in alone in
1v5.
1v5, and then you have 2 players zoning out a specific player, but that's not the target that I want to. But yeah, Navi PH, it's just them taking control of what's needed during the team fight. Even Shinoa had a great time.
Yeah.
I think that was when the CFU Gaming went in for the turtle. She had her moment wherein she was able to get all those farm on a specific lane. And it's Shinoa we're talking about. You don't do that against Shinoa.
Don't give her free farm.
Don't give her free farm, because she knows what to do with those farms if she already has the items.
Yeah, her laning phase has always been something that is highlighted throughout every single international tournament that we're looking for. So the fact that she was allowed to kind of free farm in the gold lane was definitely not the brightest of ideas. I think we saw that around the first turtle.
Yeah, it was around 2 minutes. The thing is, Yoyoy won the lane so hard that Shinoa had to stay inside of the turret. And then because she left to contest the turtle, Shinoa immediately just got the advantage in the gold lane. I just feel like CFU Gaming, I see what they're trying to do, but they need to brush up on their communication, because even the Tigreal, there's many times that I feel like even Mirko saw it, where she tried to engage a team fight when there's no damage dealers.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're just wasting your flicker, you're wasting your ult, your second skill. I kind of feel like the idea is there. They just need to get on the same wavelength, because right now it just feels like 5 players playing
Individually.
solo. Yeah, individually, yeah.
The win cons definitely became blurry for CFU Gaming, right? Because again, they had the winning lane with the Bruno. They didn't really play around it to try and shut down Shinoa. And then second of all, I think one of the main tools that we saw from their composition was supposed to be the Tigreal, and the way that the Tigreal should be able to get these advantages in a 5v5 team fight. But even that was kind of unclear. So I'm not really sure what's going on with CFU Gaming. It's not like we saw this coming back into ISF. They were a lot more on the same page.
Yeah.
I think also during that game, they were the ones that restricted their area, right? Because they were too focused on initiating team fights against the Navi PH, that some parts of the map was really open. So if it's either Keishi, it's either Shinoa, or whoever player from Navi PH wants to somehow spike their gold, or somehow limit that
Yeah.
gap, there's a lot of space for Navi PH, and they're known to be that type of team that actually lessens the gap or the discrepancy in terms of gold. And then when they group up, everyone is on the same page. Okay, you have this item, you have this item,
Yeah.
I have this gold, then we do 5v5.
Speaking of gold, we're going to look at the head-to-head here to really see a good comparison between two players here. Because, again, I kind of feel like it started okay, but then it eventually became not. Now we're looking at
wow.
Yo-Yo as well as Shinoa. And if you watch the first 2 minutes, you're like, how is this numbers possible?
It's not supposed to
It's
be.
not supposed to be like
this.
This
Yeah.
is a Bruno into a carry. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bruno is supposed to win hard in lane because it does take a little bit more time for the carry to get to the Swift Trinity, to the power spike. So the glaring mistake that we saw from that first neutral objective definitely gave that impact that Shinoa was able to capitalize over.
Yeah, I think also because of the statistics, it's very evident that for CFU Gaming, the conversion of gold wasn't there regardless of how huge of a lead your gold lane has. If it doesn't convert into objective, then
yeah.
it's not efficient farming or laning early on for CFU. And at the same time, for Navi PH, because of that, you have 69% kill participation versus 71, but the average KDA is relatively higher for Navi PH Shinoa. So it means that it's just Navi PH knowing when to pick at the right moment.
Okay, here's the thing. We're gonna have a picture just to see what's going on in stream B, but we had this conversation earlier. Should they try to stop Shinoa in the early? And they kind of did, and then they just let it go. Now we're actually seeing I can't see. Is it
Virtus.pro
Virtus.pro and Terror
Terror
Queens.
Queens. I believe they
Is
Terror
this live?
Queens- I think so. I believe Terror Queens won 1-0. I believe this is the second game. Looks
Yeah.
to be a little bit closer here, Eterna.
That looks like a 4,000 gold difference already for Virtus.pro though. So
Yeah.
they might be able to come back. I can't really see full the composition that they brought.
But the thing is, like, I got some information that game number 1, Virtus.pro was able to take down, Terra Gaming able to take down Virtus.pro in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. So it was a very quick game number 1. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have more updates on this game a little bit later. But I do.
It looks okay for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, this one is around almost 19
Yeah.
minutes, so very different from the 10-minute game.
So they
Medium
recovered.
inhibitors down.
Yeah.
The top one is almost down as well. It looks like it's an all Virtus.pro map.
Yeah.
Going back, I really just want them to be coordinated because I do agree.
CFU.
Yeah, you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket of taking down Shinoa in the gold lane, but at the same time, don't just let her go free.
Yeah.
Punish a bit. Like, they didn't even trade.
Yeah, it's as if they let Shinoa, okay, since our gold lane is already on the lead, we don't mind Shinoa, we continue in other stuff, but it's not effective. Yeah.
Shinoa's so quick. Like she's never not doing anything.
I think they need to cover all lanes regardless if they are on the lead and they are wanting to somehow lessen the lead.
And I feel like when you have a lead, use it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, okay, you have a lead, like you won your lane, and it's like, nope, I'm going somewhere else. Bye-bye. Have fun. I kind of feel like you gotta be more vicious. You gotta be... Don't give your opponents a chance to breathe. Put your leg on their neck and keep stomping it. Don't let them have what they want.
That's a little violent.
Okay, yeah, but you guys get the point, right? Like don't give them space.
Right. Because this is just execution. What about drafts? Like early pick Hilda was interesting for me.
I think it was okay. There's no direct counter actually against the Hilda, and it worked okay during the early game. It's just the Kalei. Okay, Kalei was a good counter.
That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like Kalia carry is a little bit too much because I remember around 4 to 5 minutes where the Kalia was able to take the Tigreal.
Yeah.
And the carry killed the Tigreal so fast, he couldn't even use the ult.
That's a natural combo, right? Because at that point of the game, when the carry gets to the item power spike, she's no longer a DPS hero, she's a burst hero. So it's basically another version of the Tigreal Beatrix.
Yeah. We've seen Kaja with these kind of heroes,
Yes.
carry, like basically the same concepts. I really want to see if they can recover from game number 1 because they're a very experienced team. They should know, it's like, hey, we don't play like this. Like, we're better.
Yeah.
We're limitless.
It's more on the decision making, really, because individual mechanical skills really were shown on game number 1.
I wasn't convinced with that Tigreal. I kind of feel like maybe got to go for a different pick at this point.
That's why I felt like the Hilda early pick was weird. Because one,
I'm weird.
But we love you.
Thank you.
I don't necessarily see the value of the Hilda in the early stage of the game, and the fact that they depended on, how do you pronounce her name?
Yui.
No,
Yui?
so it's Yui, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yui.
yeah,
Because there's
Yui.
Yoi and
there's
Yui. Okay.
Yeah.
So they depended so much on Yui that if Yui fails, which is understandable because of so many, avenues of, dashes and purifies and what so not, they need someone else that can engage in these team fights. So it's not one-dimensional.
So, meaning for game number 2, the best adjustment for CFU would be have another hero that could actually do crowd control, something like
Personally,
that.
for me, I feel like they're overcomplicating things.
Yeah.
Right? I kind of feel like just get an easy draft and then just play your game. GG, have fun, go have lunch, because I don't know. I feel like
Was their draft not easy to execute in your opinion?
I feel like having a Tigreal is not easy unless your Tigreal is amazing. Because, like you said, right, the Tigreal is the main initiator. You can't hope for the Hilda to initiate. So it's a lot of waiting.
Needs proper
Are you ready?
setup.
Do you have flicker? Can we go in now? So I feel like it's complicated in that sense where you need the stars to align and then it looks amazing. I understand there's a lot of amazing Tigreal players able to make it look good, but on a competitive setting, sometimes making it a little bit more simpler is good. Like Kalia is very simple.
Yeah.
It's so hard not to hit her abilities. I'm more impressed if you miss her abilities.
And I think around that time, what made Tigreal's life hard was the Arlot.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah,
so
imagine-
much disruption.
Yeah, imagine you want to set up a play and then if the Arlot sees you and then you have the final slash, you even have the Kalea throwing you in the air and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, free food, something like that. Anyway, yep. As we head on to the draft, as expected, we won't be seeing Uranus and Baxia still as they are banned from by Navi PH. I think for the rest of Navi PH draft, if we are forced into game number 3, they will still ban those heroes, probably because they're leaning towards heroes like Arlot, Phovius, any sustainable hero for not Ayanami.
because I saved my
Just in
nation
case.
from
And they
falling
ban out
apart.
Yi and Shane mainly because of the vision and even the threat that it gave during game number 1.
Okay. So with the YSS respect ban takeaway, that means that the 1-1 is open, but do they want to
That's-
pick it this early with the Iritel
yeah,
still
Iritel.
available?
But do you want to give it to Shinoa then?
Pick up the Iritel for yourself then. It's after.
mean, third pick, yeah.
Yeah, what? Okay.
Right, so they can get a priority mid here and maybe even a jungler or Phovius.
LaFell, Chantel, they
Yeah.
didn't learn from Bigatron.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Mirko.
Mirko is fuming.
yeah, because I don't
I mean,
know
imagine if they
he's
don't even
lurking
pick up the
now.
Iritel.
Maybe, no, Shinoa must play the Iritel, right?
Yeah. Either ways, right now we really got to look at the other priorities here because the Phovius is still up. Could be an answer towards the 1-1 as well, at least in the early game. In terms of the mid, what other priorities is there? Because Zetian is still there. They still want that Arlet.
Yeah.
So did they go for the Zetian again? Oh, this time they go for the Jushin. Interesting.
Okay, so
Interesting.
probably because of the range of the flare.
Making it hard for the 1-1 to go in. Yeah.
Because it would take time to actually activate for the crossbow down, so it's fit on that range, and you also have a player or a hero that could set up, which is the Arlot, so it makes perfect sense in the picks of Navi PH now. For CFU Gaming, I think it's best for them if they pick now.
Assassin.
You know,
I think it's time.
you know what's fun? The fact that we don't have the camera on us is that when Chantal tries to explain the hero, she uses her hands to show the skills. Like, oh, this is what a crossbow time looks like. This is what the lantern flatter looks like. That's nice. But now,
Zetian, okay.
Gato Kacha as well as Zetian. Honestly, looking very solid for the first 3 picks here for CFU Gaming.
I like it. I think they need a little bit more engaged tools, perhaps coming into the second phase, so they don't rely primarily on the Gatot. Zetian definitely is an answer
And there's
for
the
the mid
Urtel.
lane to try and go toe to toe and find that mid trio pressure against the Jushin. And yes, the Urtel comes out as expected. So Shinoa on a winning lane in the gold lane. We need to take a look what CFU's idea is here. Maybe they're looking for a different lane to look for the setup.
Yeah, either ways, right now we're looking at Navi PH betting out those EXP laners, making sure that Arlet has a good time. CFU, in the previous match, they banned out 2 EXP laners, even though they saw the Arlet, so they were convinced that this Arlet is going to the roam. But game number 1, we saw that not Ayanami was the one doing it. So I wonder if they're going to make the same approach of actually banning out fighters. Because at this point, like, I don't know, maybe the jungle could be a better shout. In terms of roamers, I'm not entirely sure what is the priority in terms of the bans here.
I think for CFU Gaming, it's the best if they ban out the more heroes on the EXP lane, because I kind of feel like there's a threat also from the Masha. Could be a Masha for Navi PH, just for the sake of going against the 1-1. But with the Akai, very specific, but
Very
I don't think it was to be a threat if ever chosen by Navi PH.
Because what are the junglers here right now? Hayabusa, the Ling, the Lancelot.
Yeah, for
We saw Suyo match number 1.
Suyo.
I think one of the important things that CFU Gaming should be looking out for is another Kalea pick,
Oh yeah, that's right.
right?
That's
So
true.
it's still left open. Still, there's
has been
opportunity
itching
for
for
Navi
a
to pick it up for
real
themselves.
team
But
is
it looks like
banning.
Navi are
They
the
will
ones
ban it out.
to ban the Kalea instead.
So it just shows that they have a different priority, and maybe they're not entirely confident because maybe they had a bad matchup going up against a 1-1 using a Kalia. You know, whatever
Your
happens in
team
scrims
is
stays in
picking.
scrims. And now the Hayabusa does get banned out. So now Navi, Arlet is still kind of a flex, but looking at how Ayanami played it, I kind of feel confident just putting that in the EXP. But like you said, maybe we can see a Masha here.
Yeah, could be an option for them. Yes, I was thinking for Navi PH. I think Joy could be one.
Oh.
Yeah, Joy has a
yeah.
lot of changes with the patch, but with a correct itemization. I mean, it's great against a 1-1, but we're focusing too much on 1-1. It's gonna be Fredrin here for Navi PH. I mean, the energy eruption usage earlier was on point. Probably one of the reasons as to why Navi PH won that game. Again, it's all about control. Now, CFU Gaming. Very honest again in terms of drafting, not unless they will change things up and have Gatot on other lanes and take a different fighter. So if we look at the fighters, you have Ruby, although Ruby against are not
Sometimes I think one meta before this, the Gatot Kacha usually gets paired in with the Badang if they want to like double layer
the crowd control.
the crowd control. Right now, we do still see that the Lapu Lapu is available if they want to pick it up. Oh, but they go for the Terizla and they go for the signature Tegami Lancelot. All right. What do you think about the Terizla, right? Because technically, I do still understand the gravity of the setup that a Terizla can have in the team fights, but movement speed is so lacking, and this is like a meta where we need active EXP laners.
Yeah, I think for this one, CFU Gaming, they will capitalize on that Fury of Phoenix because it has at least some percentage in terms of movement speed.
And,
yes.
and the changes in the river, you know,
Yes.
makes it easier to rotate.
And proper usage probably of the flicker, but it's gonna be a double-edged sword here for CFU Gaming, like same with the Akai thing from game number 1. That could be a problem for them, but as long as they are able to pull that off, it could be Gatot doing the initial setup, could be a Terizla, and now we have the Angela. When we just said about movement speed, Navi said, let's
Yeah.
speed things up more.
Honestly, Navi PH, it looks like it's going to take forever and a half to take this composition down. But either ways, we got to see CFU Gaming. They committed to this draft. Can they execute it? But for now, we're actually going to be throwing it over to Mirko and Athena to cast for this one. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the draft?
I do want to ask Mirko first with the 1-1 pick, by the way, with CFU.
Yeah, I heard that, by the way, panel. Don't talk about my best team in the world like that, all right? Okay? Yeah, they picked up the Irithel instantly. That's why I already... Hey, whenever you see a 1-1 first pick, I always say it's pretty bad in competitive play just because of the Irithel, the Farsas. There's so many ways to counter it, right? The Hayabusa, that was fortunately banned out.
Yeah, and that's how you do it. That's a blueprint for
5
that.
seconds
And
till
we're
the
heading
enemy
on
reaches
over
the
onto Lanapro
battlefield.
for the game
Smash
number
them.
2 of our match number 2. It's 0-1 in favor of Navi PH. CFU could go for a tire for all
Welcome
one to
to
force out the
Mobile
game number 3. But
Legends.
let's see. Let's see. We have some adjustments here, especially the Lancelot coming back. But a very big, somewhat of a surprise, but I'm expecting it also. The Angela here for Navi PH. Lafel also mentioned you're going for a double time just to tore down, just to slay down even Keishi alone here if you have that Angela for Mirai.
It's not just going to be Keishi who's unkillable. It'll be Amore who's unkillable. The Jusin-Angela combination has been, at least for me, it's been terrorizing my ranked games, man. Every time. I hate Jusin in this meta. Well, the previous meta, sorry. So it's kind of like Karma, where the Jusin now has an Angela, and she just doesn't die. She just does... She does very small damage. Not that she does a lot of damage, but she doesn't die. That means she does more damage as they go, as the team fight continues.
She just needs to support most of the damage leadership, especially for Amor, as you've mentioned. And looking at the emblem build as well, it's going to be the focusing mark here and Inspire for Mirai. And as long as she isn't being picked off here for CFU Gaming, they're safe. And for CFU Gaming, the challenge is how do you tore them down as fast as possible.
Yep.
You need to double down onto the burst. And looking at the Terisla, let's talk about the Terisla here. Even our panel was actually questioning. There's a big question mark on what's your plan here.
The Terizla is always, or has always been, a great option when an Arlet is meta. The Terizla is basically a way to just shove the wave faster. And if the Arlet walks up, you trade better too. It's just, you know, now how do you team play with the Terizla? Because in lane, we know he does well when it comes to shoving in the mid lane as well. So far, Moshi actually first to it, but might get punished. A cheeky rotation from Keishi.
So it's all about the organized attack here for CFU Gaming versus what they did for game number 1. Straightforward draft here. We like how things are going in for the turtle. There's going to be a jump here.
Big CC lock. She's still winning it out somehow. The hard guard helps her get away now as Ayanami walks up with the vengeance resets constantly. Now Keishi has the healing, but he gets hit. Still has the healing to get away from it. How did Navi Philippines win that? Turtle 1 taken. Shinoa in the bottom lane. Whoa.
Wait.
Goes back in with a heavy crossbow. Gotta be careful. Last shot in. The counter matchup. Shinoa with a solo kill in the bottom lane.
First blood, the first turtle. And we could definitely see what the future awaits for this game number 2 with that hard guard onto Keishi. I told you.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned time and time again
Also,
that
Athena,
CFU will have hard time.
that's why you pick Irithel when you see a 1-1.
That is
That's
why.
Don't pick first pick 1-1. Don't do it.
Don't worry, Mirko is chill.
Okay.
And that's the reason why you want to have someone that could somehow tame the 1-1 onto the lane, and Irithel is the perfect woman for that. But looking at the jungle right now, Keishi being targeted at Yui and Tegami going for the dashes. Amor forcing out the Crimson Beacon here.
Yep. Playing it safe one more time here. In the mid lane they go. It's all about mid control. At this point, it really is all about neutral objectives. And for CFU Gaming, they've been trying to drag Navi Philippines back to water. Obviously, the Sharks. But Navi Philippines are staying on shore. They're not letting CFU pull them to what is their strong suit. Team fighting.
Yeah, there might be some feet dangling on the water.
Maybe
just
just a
to
bit.
try and bait them out. But as you mentioned, for game number 1, one biggest factor on why Shinoa was overpowering because she was left alone onto her space, but this one isn't left alone right now.
Yeah, Ayanami locked down. Has the flicker regions back to safety. No, still gets taken out by Moshi. Fade away kill. Not enough damage just yet. And CFU once again have won the battle, but look at this. Keishi walks back up. Good taunt incoming in. Keishi kites away, healing and damage from Mirai and Amore. Now Fa, it's picked up one more time. Navi Philippines again. They're putting their feet in the water and they're getting out as fast as possible.
That's kind of similar of a teaser. You can CFU Gaming. Amore!
Walks up
In
all
the
over.
middle
Finds his way.
of all of that.
Wow, from the Phantom Execution, gets away from the puncture too. Needs a little bit more for the Lantern Flare on Moshi. She single-handedly stopped CFU from getting the turtle.
And that's how you play the Jushin right now. This is why you have nightmares if you're up against a Jushin. With all the survival skills that she has, even with the damage alone. But speaking of damage, Tagami does have some of the damage that they need, but the positioning just isn't there yet. And now there's going to be a target onto Keishi.
The crossbow attack too, now translated over to Ayanami, forcing Mirai to flicker out to safety. That's the lockdown. Penalty zone AOG. You're not moving for a whole minute.
And this time, the 1-1 or Yoyoy was actually forced to go onto the team fight. Shinowa on the standby. One woman taken down here. Tagami is down. Navi PH is capitalizing onto getting a kill as soon as possible. They don't want them being onto the downside of the map. They just want to take whatever that they can.
CFU have been handling the 4v4s, the 4v5s really well, but when it's a 5v5, when Shinoa is in the picture, it seems like it's going to be much more difficult for them to deal with.
And they just need to be consistent as well onto trying to ensure that Shinoa isn't left alone anymore. Speaking of which, oh my gosh, that's so exposed.
Fade away damage, penalty zone onto Mirai, still able to survive now. That's gonna be the puncture coming into the backdoor. Rose getting the assassination down with another puncture and the taunt locking down Shinoa. Sprint away, getting the heavy crossbow in time as well. Just kiting back and forth. Big appraisers wrap the crossbow tang. Gets translated over. That's a kill to Yoyoy.
That's definitely what you want. The corners for a 1-1 to easily work out. And with that, that's the beauty of the 1-1 as well, targeting onto the front liners here for Navi PH, equalizing her kill score onto a 4-4. Looking at our in-game equipment, by the way, you have the Corrosion and the DH, so Demon Hunter Sword here for Yoyoy. Meanwhile, for Shinoa, she already has the Wind Talker. So you would expect the fast wave clear as well and the extra mobility here onto the map. For CFU Gaming, they just need to stick to the plan, and it's working. They're consistently just going to visit onto the gold lane and consistently also trying to capitalize on what Moshi has to offer, her Teresa.
Absolutely. So far, Moshi has been able to offer quite a bit. These team fights have literally been won by Moshi engaging. And Moshi has one target in mind. It's the Fredrin. Penalty zone into the back again. The AOG to lock her down. Two-time into the two-time. Now with the ultimate coming down as well. Keishi still trying to survive out. Tagami with the puncture in the back. Keishi gets away mid lane. It's Shinoa keeping the turret alive as Yoyoy and the rest of the team looks to rotate towards it, collapsing on it. They get the clear down. Flicker from far.
Okay, might be somewhat of a plan B if ever Navi PH wants to reach her, but Amore right now, Flicker already exhausted. But for Navi PH, they could definitely feel the anger come from CFU Gaming, especially onto the chase down onto Keishi. The lock-in of Moshi onto Keishi alone is somewhat disrupting Navi PH onto what they want, which is securing objective turret after turret. Which UE being locked in here by Amore. They're going here and onto the gold lane. Yoyoy focusing onto the outer turret.
Penalty zone. Shinoa walks up the heavy crossbow and the hard guard coming down. That's going to be the AOG to the back line. But Fra is going to be taken down to the back now as the crossbow tank gets popped up. Used up. Into Keishi she goes. Shinoa has dealt with the back line. Both Fa and Tagami. For Ayanami. That's 2 for 1.
Yeah, and for Navi PH, they went for a saver's route here for Shinoa, getting 2 kills at once and protecting her, by the way, with Mirai. And another turret, the mid lane turret here, Mirko. Looking at our instant replay, there were 2 things or 2 clashes happening at once. And for Navi PH, they chose the perfect target. Even though we could say that Yoyoy definitely got the chance to go for the crossbow fang exhibition here, but by giving Shinoa the double kill, it just not only neutralizes, gives Navi PH a huge advantage for that Irithel.
Certainly does. Speaking of the advantage, a Berserker's Fury
Yeah.
at 9 minutes. I believe that's her third item.
Yeah, it's
And
actually the third.
this is an expensive build, you know? Like, okay, let's take a look at it. Hasblan, okay, it's not entirely an expensive
Yeah,
build just because of the
Hasblan,
Windtalker.
Windtalker.
Pretty cheap, but Berserker's Fury done. I believe the Melfic Gun should come in next, and when she gets it, oh, that's a double counter to the Wanwan, man.
Yeah.
You already have the mobility, you plus in the range, it's gonna be tough. Taunt from Yui onto Ayanami, Amor in the back line with the Lancer Flare. That's a red trick! She gets it! Somehow, despite the Thorn Rose, Moshi left alone. That's a Sky Piercer for Amor. And it will be the Sky Piercer taken away. Shinoa! Dodging everything, even the Phantom Execution. And now running Tagami down. Fa taken down by Mirai in the back. And Tagami will fall to the blade of Keishi as Yui tries to run away. But there's a little girl coming out to tie him up. Yui caught under. Mirai looking for the damage. Just a few more shots of the skill one. And Mirai gets the Gato Tacha down.
That is not the heart and love that you want to receive.
Oh no, that's painful.
If you're CFU Gaming. But a huge lead here for Navi PH, taking down most of the members here for CFU Gaming. Looking at our instant replay, it started with Amor just going for the Lantern Flare here, giving Keishi the chance to go for the Red Key Steal here against CFU Gaming. Plus Shinoa, targeting Fi, even Tagami just struggling to find a way to just escape the members of Navi PH. Now they're knocking down the mid lane inhibitor here for CFU Gaming.
Oh no, the penalty zone missed. No one caught. The AOG lands, but it's only on Takeshi. Yui taken very low. Lancer Flare just a bit off there. And Navi Philippines walk out with a base turret take.
They'll take that win, especially onto that inhibitor turret takedown. And now they're controlling the jungle. They're not letting Tagami escape. There's a taunt, the Slatter Flare.
Thorn rolls to escape. Final slash lands on the back. Ayanami is a monster. Shinoa with the cleanup. A true monster kill with Amor. Racking up those Sky Piercer stacks and recalling on the corpse of CFU Gaming's members.
Yeah.
Only Moshi's left to defend.
Tough love here for Navi PH. There's going to be the penalty zone, but 5 members still alive. They're locking onto the base of CFU Gaming.
Navi Philippines, even in the zone of CFU, don't care. They dive deep into the depths of the trenches of the Sharks, and they beat them at their own game. Team fighting prowess, 2-0 for Navi Philippines.
Showcasing the inner queen confidence here for their first match, their second match for MWI 2025. A powerful play here for Navi PH, navigating through that ocean, navigating through the waters against the Sharks. Definitely someone to watch out for. Definitely you have to put them at the top of your hit list if you're against Navi PH.
The defending champions, at least a roster, right? You can see just how lethal they can be in enemy territory, whether they're behind as well. They just know what their win conditions are. They know that entire game while going for the neutral objectives that even if we lose in the team fights, Shinoa's having a good game. All we need to do is, again, keep our losses at a minimum. And then we can come back with Shinoa walking in the team fights. And Shinoa as reliable as ever. Dare I say, even more reliable than her form in MWI